Look, I realize this is maybe like the most hypocritical thing I will ever say, but Sidious has to stand trial. We have to let him live. Regardless of what I did to Dooku, just like less than an hour ago in the same movie. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about the 10 most versatile characters in the game. Now this doesn't mean the best plug and play, though a lot of them are going to have that same kind of label. I want to talk about the characters that kind of wear the most hats, not just like Cad Bane kind of hat, or what, like awkward, is it a hat, is it a mask, is it just his actual skin? We don't know. Let's get to the actual game already? Madness. Whoa, we're in the game with no transition. Madness. Okay, guys. So first off, this group here, this is not what I'm going to count in the top 10 because, yes, they're good. They're versatile. They go on a lot of different squads. Yes, I recognize that. However, they're built to be that way. It's too obvious. It's way too obvious, in fact. And frankly, they're pretty one-dimensional. They're like, here, I'll make you stronger. And everyone's like, oh, cool. Can you do anything else? And they're like, nope, I am a one-trick pony. Except for Kat. Kat's the one that I think she could belong on this list. Here's the problem, folks, is she is so closely glued to Anakin, to Kenobi, that you can't put her somewhere else once you have Kenobi. And I guess I don't see that as flexible. I don't see that as versatile. I see that as a one character unit that takes up 2 slots. That's what I see it as. So I don't see Kat as that. These are all, yes, very, very versatile, very strong. They fit in a lot of different teams and do a lot of really cool stuff. But really, they do just one thing on those teams. And in reality, they don't really add. I mean, they add a lot to those teams. They're not individually versatile in the sense that they just kind of do the same thing every time. So let's go over my list. First, we have Shakti, which is an interesting one in my opinion. Here's the thing, guys. In the game, yeah, she probably just wants to go with either Galactic Republic or various clones, but that's actually quite a bit. And okay, and to be clear, she's not the number 1 or the number 10. These are all just the top 10, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. You guys can smash that thumbs up button whenever you think I'm wrong. I have no issues with that, as long as it's only once and you never hit the thumbs down button. Do what you want, guys. But seriously, thumbs up would help. That being said, Shakti does a lot of cool stuff. It's not just the squads that she's in, she's also the roles that she plays. She can do a lot of things. So she can go with Bad Batch as the lead to make them crazy fast. She can make them 400 speed if you have the right speed mods on Echo. And then she can hand the turn to Echo to start some turn meter stuff. So you can do that. You could also have her as a 5th character on the team and have Hunter as the lead. So then when people shoot your squad and you're not fast enough, she gains enough turn meter that she hands the turn to Echo and they start their turn meter madness. She can also go on a Jedi team and she can ramp her mastery so that she can do a lot of dodging and stuff. On a Jedi team, she also dispels on basic. I mean, on all the teams she dispels on basic, but a lot of times that's something she can do. She can call someone else to assist every time, and she can heal them. She can also do all sorts of cool boosts on people based on their role. Really, she's the one who you get Ki-Adi-Mundi with. She is useful all over the place within her kind of limited circle, but she does all kinds of things. She gives her team retribution. She keeps them alive. She facilitates them in the best way. She is one of the best characters, in my opinion, out there. Even if Anakin has killed her, I think it's not just Anakin. I think she's died like 5 different times. It's a little bit silly. Mace Windu is pretty similar, folks, and you guys saw him on the thumbnail. I've been pretty similar to Rambam lately, guys. If you know who he is, he's a content creator, streamer who's always loved Mace, even before he was actually good. However, I'm not like him. I've only liked him since he became good. I'm pretty wishy-washy. So he's a fleet commander, and that's almost something we can overlook, right? Like, his fleet is pretty forgettable. However, he does a lot of interesting things. So he's a tank. He's always been a tank, but now he can actually taunt. He has his own kind of type of taunt. He also has the cool ability to like attack out of turn. So like in threes, he's really useful because sometimes you're like, well, you have the choice to attack 2/3 of the board right now and just ignore taunt. You can call someone to assist. If the person is Galactic Republic, you hand them more turn meter, therefore he can take another turn right away if you pick the right person. If he's also going to be taunting quite a bit. He also has ability block on basic, which is incredibly useful for a ton of different reasons. He's also, doing turn meter manipulation and stuff. He fits on basically every Jedi team pretty well. He does well as a tank. He does well as someone who he can stun people if they have shatter point and you target them. He protects your teams from people like soloing your Padme squad or something like that, because he consistently takes down their max health and protection. He does a lot of stuff, guys. He is very versatile. He's very mod and stat hungry. So, my relic 8 on him should happen at some point. But yeah, he's very strong, folks. That ability block, man, especially in conjunction with a lot of what the other Jedi do, very, very strong. Jedi Revan is another character. So, first off, when they first created Rey, they said specifically the reason she was not made into a Jedi was because of Jedi Revan, because he would break her. He would make her too good. And he was even really good once she came out. They specifically made Jedi Luke to not like Old Republic, not because it's anything in lore, but because the tandem of them is already so crazy good that if you give him the normal boosts that Luke would give, he would be overpowered. He's a guy who can't be ability blocked. He can't be stunned. Whenever he dies, if he's the lead, he comes right back. He can hand the turn to another Jedi. He can make your whole team, including anyone on that team, target whoever he wants and give them a taunt with his mark. He is just really good. He gives his team the ability to regenerate their hit points. He doesn't have to be in the lead. He also has a miniature lead of his own. I don't think that's it. Yeah, well, he gets a bunch of the different stats, guys, and then he hands them out. It's not like amazing, but it's pretty good. He's pretty fast. He's just versatile. One of the most versatile characters in the game. And here's the thing about him, too. A lot of times you'll take him as lead for Jedi Master Luke if your Luke isn't fast enough, if you're trying to do a mirror. So he gives tenacity up to his whole team so that your Jedi Master Luke can go and not be ability blocked. He just does a lot of really cool stuff, guys. Bando is another versatile character because he can both be a protector and he can take people out depending. He's a pilot for one of the most important ships in the game. He also does a huge amount of damage with his whistling birds if you can make all of that work. But then also he protects teams to be able to take down not just because my cursor is on here. So he can force, oh gosh, we're just doing all kinds of so he can strike. He can do all kinds of stuff, guys. He does a knife job at things, to be honest. But here's the thing about him. He keeps people alive and he destroys other people. Like he's on both sides of the spectrum, and he goes really well with even just normal light side characters. He goes well with smugglers. He goes well with scoundrels. He does a lot of things. He just needs his spear, guys. Where is his frickin' spear? Why did they give him a knife when he could have a cool spear? I don't get it, but he's one of the more versatile as well because he can cleanse on his team. He can ignore taunt and stealth when he's targeting with whistling birds. He can heal. He just does lots of cool stuff, guys. He can make it so people aren't taking damage. Very cool stuff. All right, Crew is a character that I've always really, really liked him. First off, his ship is amazing. I know that it's not in the very best fleet, but on that fleet, it's the win condition. If he dies, the whole system goes down. Just like the Death Star, just like K2 heard Jin say. So here's the thing. What else does he do? His ship is good. He's in a faction that's not the most amazing, but he ignores all the percent health damage, which is really nice. He does a guaranteed 2-turn stun. So you put him on any team as a plug-and-play character and makes him a pre-taunt, because he's a Zeta that gives him a pre-taunt. And then when he gets a turn, he's able to get a 2-turn guaranteed stun on anyone as long as they're not immune to stun. He does tenacity down on basic, and he counters when he's hit, which he's going to be hit a lot because he's a pre-taunt, and he can retaunt every time he hits someone that's debuffed. It's very cool, guys. Very, very cool. And he's just tough to kill as well if you have him modded the right way. All right, those are the top 5, folks. What are in the other 5? Let's find out. First, we have Treya. Is Treya a Twi'lek? Is she a Togruta? What the hell is she? Well, are those just extra, like, backup little lightsabers dangling by her face? I don't know. Like, she doesn't have the hands for that. It's just a mess, folks. Shouldn't there be 2 little, like, Montreal tail head things right next to her lightsabers down here as the relics? I don't know. I don't know if I care. She's pretty crazy, though, guys. So, here's the thing about Treya. First off, with Sith, obviously, she dispels all their debuffs. It doesn't matter what slot she's in. She makes it so that when Sith take a turn, all those debuffs go away. And that's really deceptive of her. I mean, she's a deceptive person. She'll literally betray ya. I mean, it's literally in her unique. Her name is in... She puts the Treya in betrayal. I mean, but seriously, guys, she does a lot of cool stuff. She does a lot of cool stuff, but... Here's the thing, the reason she's versatile is because she's not just one-dimensional. First off, she makes a good lead. If you want to run her against people who attack out of turn, she punishes them with her lead. If you want to make her team a little more challenging to beat, I mean, just in terms of like more resilient, her leadership does that. So she hurts the other team with her lead. She boosts her team with all the different stats that she gives and rules. And then she also cleanses, and she makes sure that some of her team at least heals. She debuffs a lot of different people. She's just there. She's one of those glue guys that you're like, wow, I had no idea that she did this much. And then if you want to mod her kind of weirdly, her Saber Storm, actually, if you set it up right, she can just one-shot a lot of people. Like, I love seeing her against Lord Vader because her team gets so many debuffs that eventually just go away, but they get debuffed so much that when she eventually takes a turn, her Saber Storm has built up so much damage that she's just able to one-shot like almost anyone except for Lord Vader. It's very cool. Very neat stuff. Now, Grand Admiral Thrawn, obviously is a great plug-and-play character, and he can go in a lot of different squads. I guess I should mention, by the way, with Treya lead, you can just take, like, Nest, you can take a DPS that's not going to die very easily. You can make it so that even if she dies, her leadership is hurting your opponent. Now, Thrawn, his leadership only really helps Empire, and it's only helping in certain capacities. However, his fracture is nice. He can turn the turn over to people. He's like, I return to you now at the turn of the turn. And everyone's like, that's not what Gandalf said. He's like, I know, Gandalf's kind of a dumbass, actually, compared to me. Look at my forehead. But... yeah, he's just very strong in terms of, like, he can hand the turn to anyone, and you can ignore all the turn meter constraints and everything. He gives people ability block, and when that happens, like, he gives it to him passively through that speed up, which is kind of a fun thing. It's like it's a trap, but then he can immediately then, I don't know how many times people have taken a turn and like hit him while he's in fracture. But they had their ability blocked because he gave them that speed up, and when their ability blocked, they hit him and he shoots them and stuns them with his stuff. Like, it's a pretty cool thing. He does a decent amount of damage. He's reasonably fast. He used to be like a paragon of all of these things, and now he's kind of fallen behind a little bit, but he's still that guy who stops an entire character from doing anything for a significant amount of time, especially if you can time it right with other Empire characters. He can do that half of the time with Galactic Legends, and Frankly, he's still just a menace. You can make him pretty fast as well if you really want to, and then you can make him even faster with Lord Vader. If you make him 340 speed, you can make him up to 380. It's just kind of disgusting, guys. Not to mention, he has good recovery with his leadership in that specific situation. BB-8's one of those characters that it's like, man, he does so much, or she does, or whatever it does, Ball does. So, first off, on his basic, he does tenacity down. Second off, he gives Illuminated Destiny eventually. The biggest thing, though, and the thing that makes him so good, is he works with all droids to make them really fast. It just doesn't matter which droids, where he goes. So he gets counter as well, and he calls people to assist. But also, he gives 8% turn meter to all droids, including himself at the very start, and he's also going to be healing droids. He's a leader of droids, he's a taunter while he's with droids, and the Illuminated Destiny gives all the buffs to all the people. It doesn't matter who they are as long as they're on your team. He's hitting back. He can go with Grievous teams, he can go with Sortie teams, he can go with Jedi Training Rey teams. With Rey teams, he can go with like all the different Resistance teams and all the droid teams. Just very impressive little ball. Kuil is a character that a lot of people overlook, and I mean, I can understand why. However, he does a lot of cool stuff. Not only is his shoulder on fire, at least that's what it kind of looks like to me, he does burning with his hit, this basic. He does a stun and a shock with this and speed down. And it's pretty neat, actually, those two abilities. But then he also hands everyone on his team with droid and scoundrel, who are droids or scoundrels, which is a huge part of the game. He gives them all kinds of stuff. He gives them 25% turn meter here, and the mechanics boost, whatever it is. But then the thing that gets overlooked a lot, and I pointed it out in a lot of my videos, but I think I want to make sure you guys understand, is he also hands out to other droids and scoundrels 40% of his max health, offense potency, and gains 40% of his max protection as well. He does all that cool stuff. He revives droids, and he's already kind of naturally fast, and so if he goes first, which mine is 347, that's pretty quick for Kuil, but if he can go first, then he's going to give the rest of his team 25% turn meter, which means the rest of your team's going to go first, setting them up for success. He's really quite an inspiring little fellow. Ahsoka Snips is also extremely versatile. She fits so many places. First off, she ignores, so she has Dispel on basic, which is also, it's like the Tragruta way, like Shakti does it, so does Ahsoka. She also heals her people. She dispels debuffs on them. She attacks when other people do specials on her team, given the right circumstances. She does not miss when they have foresight, but then she dispels on basic, so she just goes underneath that foresight and says, "I'll just take that." She's like Bill Lumbergh with staplers. It's just amazing, and she even leads Night Sisters in an amazing, just glorious, inspiring way. She's a ship pilot. She has 2 lightsabers of various colors, and she talks a lot of smack. She's a really good character, guys, and goes with a ton of Jedi teams, tons and tons, and also just normal like Galactic Republic teams like Padme. So those are my top 10. Gonna give a real quick shout out to the Consolation bracket. So we're gonna go, this is like lightning round, guys. First off, Night Sister Zombie and Daka. Best taunting duo in the game, just really good. Plug and play, goes almost anywhere, makes it so your opponent just can't kill any of your guys because Zombie keeps reviving. Geobrood Alpha is the same. This is a tank, and it's a unit of 2. Has a really versatile set of things that are applicable to a lot of different teams. Got a Dispel, can resummon the tank, has the pre-taunt, and does an okay amount of damage, depending. Han Solo's great on any team. I mean, he's better with specific synergy teams, but he can stun whoever he wants at the very start of the turn, and no one can frickin' stop him. Gideon is really fast, one of the fastest in the game, and he does an armor shred, he does turn meter removal. As the fastest character in the game, He does turn meter removal on everyone, and then gives his whole team extra turn meter. He has a lot of different cool things going for him. Boba has so many different tags, I guess Jango does as well. They just fit almost everywhere. And honestly, like the AoE ability block, the execute that denies revives, the ability to ignore taunt is just a lot of fun and does a lot of good stuff. So guys, I am absolutely sure that I missed some of these. What are your top 10? What did I miss? Who deserves to be on the top 10? Who doesn't on my list? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.